So I'm going to choose the word of Oracle Kachi. I'm going to say great, 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 great. Olympic has started. Olympus has not fallen. I have for me today. I have Oracle Kachi, and it's still News Institute Sports running concurrently on a band radio scope on our YouTube channel at News Institute Sport. Kachi, you want to say hi to the audience?
Sports fans, it's always a pleasure. I know, like, as sport junkies as you are. I know you can't wait for your sports fix, and rest assured, you will be getting a lot of it today.
All right, perfect. And where do we start from? We'll start from the NBA final. I know it's like no longer a classic news. We've seen all the hypes, we've seen all the memories. Giannis Antetokounmpo has stolen the show,
Mhm.
star of the show, just like LeBron did last season. The MVP, good one. And as we expected, we already predicted it on the show last week that the Bucks were going to win the series by Game Six. I thought it was going to go to Game Seven, but by Game Six, the Bucks rounded it up. Kachi, no surprises, nothing, but we are good. Are we satisfied that this is how we ended for the season?
Thanks, Debo. No surprises. I think the entire neutral fans and fans or haters of LeBron and KD will also be satisfied that we got, first of all, a new champion, a first time ever champion. Secondly, that an all time great story about how perseverance, how never giving up on your dream, how never abandoning the team that drafted you to go and chase a ring
Yeah.
will eventually lead to a good story. We are also happy for that. I guess the only people who are not satisfied are the people who were waiting for a blockbuster headline grabbing NBA finals.
Yeah.
And I'm talking of having like the likes of the Brooklyn Nets face either the LA Clippers
Or
or
the
the
Lakers.
LA Lakers.
Yeah.
I guess that's probably the only people that will be disappointed. But if you had seen the game on the night when Giannis Antetokounmpo made history, you would agree with me that it was well deserved. This is a young, likable person
Personality.
who
Yeah.
understands the importance of working hard, who chased
Yeah.
his dream all the way from Athens, Greece, down to Milwaukee. I saw a video of him with his parents when he was drafted, looking up at the rafters
Yeah.
and telling his parents that one day he would like to
Want to
have
be
his jersey
it
numbers,
just yeah
you know,
up
retired
there.
and hung over the. And it will be on the night when they needed him to deliver. Oh boy,
He did 100%.
50 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists. And what made the 50 burger very, very good was he shot 17 from 19 at the free throw line. This is Giannis Antetokounmpo
It's
that
break
Chris,
it broke history for
I
his
mean, at the end of game five, Chris Paul gave an post-game interview and said, I mean, we all expect Giannis Antetokounmpo to miss from the free throw line. That even Giannis expects himself to
himself
miss from
to
the free
miss on
throw
the
line.
free throw line.
But Giannis came in and blew everyone away. And it wasn't straightforward. I mean, they had a 13-point first quarter lead. They
Yeah.
squandered that from horrendous shooting in the second half. They were outscored 31 to 13 in the second half alone and went to the halftime down by 5 points, and Giannis took over. And even though Giannis, we talk about the whole 50 points and everything, let's give honorable mention to Chris
So what I
Middleton.
do? Okay.
He didn't have the best of games, but he was clutch when they needed him to be. All his 17 points came in the second half, and every time it looked like the Phoenix Suns were going on the run, Chris Middleton shot a dagger three-pointer that broke that momentum. Big shout out to him. Also, big shout out to Drew Holiday. I mean, all the diversity and adversity rather that he faced with his wife being diagnosed with the brain tumor and all that,
Yeah.
leaving the game of basketball for almost 2 years, coming
Uh-huh.
back. He can call himself a champion, just like his wife is also a World Cup
Oh,
champion.
champion.
Amazing
Wow.
story by the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, good one, and like I like to be associated with good things, so I'm gonna claim Giannis Antetokounmpo
Oh no!
as a
Oh
Nigerian,
God!
as a Nigerian.
Oh,
No, 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 no.
Milwaukee. Listen,
I'm not gonna back down on the Booker. So
listen,
I
right,
supported the
listeners.
Suns. I supported the Suns for the final.
Uh,
I'm not gonna change that. We lost, but
listeners.
I'm gonna take Giannis as my brother from Nigeria.
Listeners and watchers, if there was ever any chance of the Milwaukee Bucks repeating, they just lost it. Yeah, I mean, Dable just switched allegiance from the Suns, actually from the Raptors to the Nets, from the Nets to the Suns, and from the
No,
Suns now
I'm
he's
talking
singing
about
the praise
I'm
of the
talking about
Bucks.
this final. I supported Suns for the final. I'm still a Brooklyn Nets fan. Anyways, we'll move straight down to the country of the alarmists, which is the United States of America. They
Mhm,
lost to the French, 76-83.
mhm.
Now, it's the first loss that they're experiencing at the Olympics since 2004. And this is a team that parades Zach Lavine, Jesse Tatum, Damian Lillard, Drew Holiday, Kevin
Yeah,
Durant,
yeah.
it's and
Simbuka.
yeah, it's crazy seeing this roster of players losing to the French. And funny enough, they lost to the French again at the World Cup in 2019. Um, I know it's a shock, but given the roster of players that we have right now, and given your expertise in the NBA, in the NBA world, are we supposed to be really concerned that they're not going to win a medal at at the Olympics? I know anything short of the gold is going to
Oh,
be alarmed by the American audience, but realistically, they don't look like a team. I saw a video of KD and Brian Adebayo arguing about the ball and the rest. You know, those are not the kind of things you should see in a team. But realistically, given what we have right now, if they win a medal, it is good enough. And should we be alarmed that they are not going to win a medal at these Olympic Games?
yes, we should be alarmed that they will not win gold medal. I don't think they would not probably not win bronze because chances are they may not make it to the gold medal game. We started seeing signs of this during
Cracks,
we started seeing
the
signs of
build
this
up.
crack during the pre-tournament build-up games that they had again, playing against Australia, Nigeria, and struggling really bad. Greg Popovich is one of the most decorated NBA coaches, and he has, over the years, after winning 5 championships with the San Antonio Spurs, he obviously commands the respect. So that is not really the problem. The problem is not whether the players respect Greg Popovich enough. I think the biggest problem right now, and what should make the fans of the United States basketball team worried, is Popovich has corralled a team of of number ones and number twos, of alphas. Right now, there is nobody, probably apart from Draymond Green, that wants to get their hands dirty
Dirty.
and defend and doesn't want to start hard and see, 25, 10, 5 in the
Yeah.
box in the box score. Right now, every single person there, KD is ball dominant. Damian Lillard is ball dominant. Devin Booker is ball dominant. These are players that want to have the ball on their hand. So the movement, the spacing is they are playing instead of playing
They're
like the
playing
triangle
individually.
that
Yeah.
yeah, instead of playing the triangle that the Chicago Bulls was famous for, right now they are focusing on isolation basketball. Right, the other teams have figured them out. It's a cause for concern. I mean, the United States have players that, if they play very well, each of them, KD can give you 50 points on a night, and the entire team scored 76 against a strong, I won't say struggling, but not a clear-cut
Not
favorite French
exactly
French team.
French team.
It is a cause for big concern.
Okay. I wish them good luck, and okay, I
I
wish them good
don't.
luck.
I want the Nigerian team to win something. I mean, unfortunately, the United States, we understand that 8 out of every 10 great basketball players globally probably come from or play in the NBA. I
NBA
understand
exactly.
that. It's the home of basketball.
Uh-huh.
But the United States team, unfortunately, have taken this as a birthright. Sometimes they go into games thinking that they should have won
One.
without a tip of the basketball.
Exactly.
That
Exactly.
mindset right now is going to spell doom for them. Right now, I can comfortably tell you that no team is scared of the American basketball team. Um, and if they lose their second game, they're definitely no longer in contention for the gold medal
For gold
match.
medal.
It's possibly going to happen, but it just depends on how the cookie crumbles in the other games.
Okay. And of course, Ash Bartley, the Australian that just made history at the Wimbledon Open, has crashed
Mhm,
out of the World Cup. I said the World Cup out of the
mhm.
Olympic Games, where she got massacred by the Spanish in straight set. Sorain, and the person that massacred her happened to be world number 40. I'm moving straight away
48, yeah.
from that. We're going to go to Andy Murray. Andy Murray withdrew from the singles at the Olympic. He had a game against who are of Canada, and his double partner Max Posa had to feeling for him. Max Posa is number 190 in the world, and without any preparation, within 2 hours, he defeated Elga in straight sets. Um, being an half Canadian yourself, Kachi, how disappointed are you with how you all went down for
Very, very disappointed.
because this is
Sorry,
someone that
if I
was
cut you short.
okay.
Felix Auger just played, very recently played in the semifinals. You know, there was high expectation that even if it was Andy Murray, Felix Auger would make light work of Murray. Not to now talk of playing Australia's Max Purcell, which you rightly said is ranked about 198 in the tour.
Yeah.
I think it's a case of I don't know anything about this young man, so let me just play my regular game. Because sometimes these players they spend time understand, especially for the superstars, they
Yeah.
know your strengths, they know your weaknesses. But when you've never played against a number 198 ranked player within just 48 hours, it's
Can actually
hard to know
pull.
what that person does good or what
Yeah.
that person
Yeah.
struggles
True
against.
that. True
But
that.
that's not to take anything away from the young Australian. I mean, he was given a chance to play against a semi-finalist in a Grand Slam, and he did not disappoint his family.
Disappoint
I
us.
think Felix Auger should just take that in his stride, but it's looking like right now the Joker man has one less opponent to worry
To
about
worry
on
about it. Yeah.
his way to completing the Golden Slam.
It go exactly. I was about to say that it's going to be a golden slam for him because I don't know. I don't know who's going to stop the Joker, honestly. And the golden girl of Japan, Naomi Osaka, won her first game as well. Naomi is the face. She's an American, she's a Japanese, and she's black as well. Like three in one for Naomi Osaka. And to a more controversial topic, it sounds political, but it's still in the sporting world. It's Fatih Norin. Norin actually refused to compete for the in at the Olympics because he might likely face an Israeli in the second round. He was not even going to face the Israeli yet. He would likely. He's an Algerian, and he said him and his coach withdrew from the Olympics. Um, I know for a fact, for a statement of fact, Algeria does not recognize the state of Israel as a country. But, Kachi, should athletes concern themselves with politics, with this kind of politics, or they should go ahead and make this statement so people will understand the the I don't know the I'm sorry. I don't know what the word to use, but just to pass across a point that, see,
Mhm.
we know we are athletes, but we have the voice, and we're going to show you the world that this is what we want, or this is what we stand
Exactly.
against. Or athletes should just stay away from stuffs like this in the entirety. Honestly,
Um, for what I would call it take integrity, because we've dealt with a similar issue in the NBA, and I know the stance that I have, and I'm going to double down on that stance. But I will only qualify it somewhat. My take is these athletes are human beings that are affected by happenings in and
around them.
around their world. So asking them not to speak, not to have an opinion, not to have a voice, especially when their voice carries huge amount of weight. They are role models, there are people looking up to them, there are people who would likely take certain actions because they saw these athletes take these actions. Based on that, I'm of the opinion that yes, athletes must be involved in political activity. We saw LeBron James and the Milwaukee Bucks that are champion now. In the
Yeah,
bubble last year, we saw them decline to play game 3 of their first round game because of what happened in Kenosha, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And we know the kind of backlash people have. But we also saw LeBron James with his discussion on Shanghai and China and the
yeah.
likes.
Hmm.
I think that is the right thing to do. That is why I'm a bit disappointed on what that Noreen did. I would have expected that on a global platform, such
Yeah.
as the Olympics,
Hmm.
on a night when possibly the whole world and even the entire Israeli nation would want to watch them if it had happened, because there was
Yeah,
no guarantee it would happen.
that's what I'm about. That's what I'm about to say. That's what I'm about to say. Because it was not even sure that I was going to win his first match,
Yes.
not
First
because
game,
of
yeah.
playing against fighting against the Israeli. I, I I think I stand to be corrected. I think I understand. I'm 100% in support of Palestinians and whatever. I don't want to go political, but I feel, and I'm of the opinion that he should have just soft pedal a little. Olali, I'm going to bring you up. Welcome back, Olali. I'm going to bring you up on the sports if you are ready for us straight away. Um, he was not fighting against the Israeli yet. It was just a possibility. Is, is it a long shot withdrawing from the Olympics at this stage? I don't know. We're talking about Fatih Nurin of Algeria withdrawing from the Olympics.
When you go to the Olympics or any game like this,
Hmm.
of course, I'm sure he is aware of the number of athletes and the countries that are participating in the games. There's always a possibility of you fighting an Israeli along the line.
Exactly.
If that is the case, if fighting an Israeli is a big deal to you, don't participate rather than all this show of mess. It's unnecessary. It's very, very unnecessary as far as I'm concerned. Because at every point in time, Olympics, different sports, a lot of countries will participate. You don't know where you will meet somebody. If you are
Exactly.
so concerned about, and I don't think it's even a big deal fighting an Israeli. It might even be, let me say, an avenue for you to probably show your anger. You can take that one out on the guy if you are so sure of yourself, rather than opting out.
and
Yeah,
and it's true. It is
100%.
true. I wanted to add to that. It's true. Let's cast our mind back to France '98 when Iraq faced
Exactly.
the United
Iran
States
and
of
United
America,
States.
yeah, Iran and the United States in a World Cup. Everybody knew that. We all knew the political tension after the first Gulf War and
Yeah.
everything. What did the Iranians do? They channeled whatever energy, whatever anger into bringing pride,
Yeah,
at
exactly.
least for 90 minutes, to their countrymen. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
he could have done the
And
same
it's
thing should it
and
have
it's
happened.
meant a lot. It meant a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could see the face of United States player after that game. they were
Yeah.
devastated. Like, wow,
Yeah.
if
And
you
Exactly.
are
and
to
and
lose to
and
any other country,
it
it should
is
never
It
be
shouldn't have
Iran.
been.
yeah, and I will just resonate what Kati just said now. It just brings my mind back to the 1986 World Cup after the Falkland War between the British and the Argentine. They ran over
Exactly.
the exactly. So at that World Cup, it meant so much to the Argentines beyond football, but they showed their anger. They won and they rightly disgraced England. I think that is what Norway should have done as well. And I was as of today, we still have the Chinese topping the medal table at the Olympics, close, closely followed by the Japanese and the United States of America, of course. And just before we go to just before we go to football, Lee Angelo Ball is expected to move to the Charlotte Hornets next season. That means we're having three brothers in the NBA. Kachi, this is this is exciting times. Just like the Adetokunbo family, we are seeing another one in the Ball family.
I was just going to say that uh, what the Antetokounmpo brothers have done by becoming the first family to have all three players, all three members
Hmm.
who are active in the NBA win a ring. That is the dream of Lava Ball, the parents, the father of
Father of
the
the
ball
Ball
boys.
boy.
Um, for this guy who has been termed the least talented out of all the three players of Laval, all the three Laval boys, I think it bodes well that Lamelo has someone who is slightly older than him that can be like a whisperer. We look at Thanasis. Thanasis is not an active. I mean, he probably only plays about 3 or 5 minutes per night for the Milwaukee Bucks. But
Hmm.
what he does outside of that lane is he's a sounding board for his younger brother Yanis.
Yeah.
He's a source of encouragement, source of inspiration. He's
Hmm.
the one that lets him know, hey, this is why we do what we're doing. I
Yeah.
think if Leangelo can do the same thing for Lamelo,
For
we should
Lamelo.
see a break. We should see a breakout here for Lamelo and not for Leangelo. Leangelo will just, like I
Be
said, just the moral support.
yeah, just a bad person, Ukachi. But anyways, I agree with you 100%. Olale, it's going to be exciting times. Like Kachi rightly said, Lamelo for me, you know how I feel about him anyways, so I don't have to eulogize him any further. How much of an influence do you think D'Angelo will be on the ball Lamelo, who happened to be the rookie of the year as well in the outgone season? So we see a big future for him. All things being equal. Olale.
Yeah, well, I think he went undrafted last year, if I'm right.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he went undrafted. I think
Hmm.
that's the reason why it's very easy for the owner to pick him. Well, I don't know. It's not for me. I don't think it's a big deal. He's the most, let me say, the least talented among the brothers. So
Hmm.
we just have to let's see, like you said, the impact of the Yannis older brother on Yannis, especially doing those free throw
Yeah,
dilemma he had. So
dilemma.
let's
Yeah,
see if he can be of any impact, or any
psychologically and
impact on his
mentally.
brothers, like just like Yannis brother was.
Let,
So
let's see if he
yeah,
can do a
so I
Roy.
don't know. I don't know,
Let's
but
see if he
for
can
me,
do a Roy
I
King.
don't see it as a big deal.
Yeah, let's see if he can be a Roy King as Roy
No,
King
Roy
is
King
to
is more
Manchester
than that.
United.
Roy,
And
no. Roy King is more than that.
okay, and of course, LeBron James hits the 1 billion mark in wealth. This is a story that we cannot
Is it?
bypass. We can't bypass the story. It's we're not talking about wealth, but LeBron has broken so much boundaries, so much boundaries in the course of his career. This guy knows how to invest. This guy knows how to earn money. This guy is good at basketball. This guy is an all-rounder athlete. How much of influence do you think LeBron should be on the upcoming stars? People like Giannis, people like Devin Booker, boys like Lamelo Ball, and Joel Embiid, and the rest of the gang in NBA right now. Olali.
No, well, I think that's the 1 billion is in what do you call it, salary at the earnings
Career earnings,
as
yeah.
the NBA
Ayane.
player, career earnings
Yeah.
from the points he was drafted up to date.
Not just career earnings, is be closely behind Tiger Woods, Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, and so I can't remember the fourth person. He's the first guy in sport. You don't earn 1 billion like that. Or in terms of any in NBA, I'm talking about his total wealth, and this is
What
off of the Space Jam movie that I just brought out. He owns his own franchise, footballing franchise. He has about 2.5%, if I'm not wrong, of Liverpool FC Football Club of England. This is a guy that knows how to do it. Yeah, go
well,
ahead.
I think well he has done well for himself. What LeBron James will mean to the current generation, I think is what Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, probably first thing, but it is good that you see players, or let me say sport guys like this investing, or let me say acting smart. Let me use the word acting smart,
Mhm.
because we've seen a lot of guys who have earned big money
And squandered it.
being a sport guy, and years down the line they
They
file
broke.
for bankruptcy.
Mhm.
So, but at least it for young guys coming in, it's a good example that you can earn money, not just earning it. You can use the money to become very, very influential,
Very influential.
very,
Uh,
very influential. If you
yeah,
invest and make more
more
money,
money.
I reinvest. I think what LeBron has actually, for me, I think the biggest achievement of LeBron is actually how he has really invested in his
In
friends,
friends.
the
Okay.
friends, those guys that he grew up together with,
With.
how he has made them who they are. I think
Okay.
that's his greatest accomplishment for me.
Okay. Kachi, I'm going to come to you now. Um, Honestly, looking back now, we're talking about Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods messed himself up at the point. We're talking about Iron Mike Tyson that hent so much, and this guy is the first U.S. athlete, U.S. athlete to become a billionaire. This is massive, and given that he has a school, like a free of charge school for people that are less privileged in his hometown in Ohio. How would you rate his own thinking away from what we used to have in the past? Talking about Iron Mike Tyson and the rest of the gang that followed in his suit.
It's massive. It says a lot about the support system that he had. Um, I mean, this is a child that a man that grew up, according to child, I apologize, LeBron. This is a man that grew up with a single mom who had to work multiple jobs in the city of Akron in Ohio, Cleveland. This is a man who immediately understood the importance of relationship, like Wale alluded to, and brought his friends, Rich Paul, Maverick Carter along. No, none of them are begging. We saw I think it was Maverick Carter or Rich Paul with Adele on Game 6 of the NBA Finals. You see two of them, you ask yourself, how did that happen? But I
Yeah.
digress. This is a man that has shown that he's a sponge. He would learn rather than have personal experiences. He learned from the history of not just the NBA game, but the history
Of black
of
sports.
superstars, of black sports in general. I mean, before he was 18, he was already on the cover of Sports Illustrated. That's to show you when he started being in the public limelight. We've never seen him put a foot wrong.
Wrong.
Apart from maybe the interview, the decision where he told the whole world he was going to Miami Heat, and maybe him sticking out his neck in the political impasse between China and Taiwan. Beyond that, he knows what he says. He takes care of his body. He made himself able to earn that money by taking full care of his body. Full care. With the world has said, if his partner right now, Anthony Davis, does half of what LeBron does, Anthony Davis will probably have as long a career. So it's maybe for Devin Booker, it's kind of late because those ones they grew up Kobe Bryant of this world.
Yeah.
But for the younger guys, the Jordan Wara currently playing in the Olympics,
Mhm.
who would look up, or the next NBA draft is next week, Thursday, I believe. Those guys would look up and look at LeBron and look at the likes of Shaq, who owns JC Penney
Yeah.
and over 500 he
Yeah.
owns about half of Papa John's
Mm-hmm.
pizzeria,
Yeah.
and they will be like, wow,
Yeah.
it's more than. I mean, we have an opportunity to create generational
So
wealth.
now wealth.
That
Yeah.
is that is the message that I think LeBron will pass to the rest
Pass
of the
across to the
upcoming
rest of
years.
them. Okay, perfect. Just to just what you said about Shaq. Shaq, I saw Shaq in an interview, and Shaq was like, I'm worth $500 million, and I actually own 50 franchises. That is massive, massive, massive from Shaq O'Neal. I respect and big ups to Shaq O'Neal. We wish
Amazing.
we would take News Starter Day one day as well. Of course, we're gonna quick break right now. When we come back, we'll be jumping straight into the world of football. We have so many news, so many rumors, so many totalizing things like Barcelona not being able to cross the bridge with Messi's contract. Don't go anywhere, guys.
Yeah, okay.
All right, before we jump into the world of football, an honorable mention of Uche Ike, the Nigerian gymnast, finished fifth. This is an unfamiliar terrain for Nigerians. Big ups to him, and we wish him good luck in the World Championship next year and further Olympics down the line. But afterwards, we'll move straight to Camp Nou. I'm not supposed to start from Camp Nou, but there's always trouble in Camp Nou, as far as we know. This is a club that could not get Gini Wijnaldum's contract over the line, even at the willingness of the player. Now they cannot register Lionel Messi because of contract barriers, because of the wages, of the wage bill not being in tandem with the Spanish FA. So it looks like more problem and more problem from for Barcelona. So Olale, I'm going to come to you now. I know you don't like this kind of questions, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to ask you. Um, Looking at the Barcelona squad, right? Would you sacrifice in the team? Because honestly, they cannot afford to keep those guys, so they need to drop so many of them just to be able to register Messi and probably get more players. They don't have a choice. It's not a matter of okay, we can do it and we can do it. So who would you sacrifice?
Well, I think the problem with Barcelona presently is, I think, is the salary cap,
Yeah,
which has exceeded what La Liga has actually allowed them to
allow them to.
pay out. So
Yeah.
I think I think at this stage, they have two options.
Mm-hmm.
Either they look for two or three players that they can sell,
Yeah.
and I think that's the reason why they are trying to find a way of getting Antoine Griezmann out of the place. And
Okay.
from Simeone's comments last week, is as good as Atletico is not actually interested in that deal. So they
Okay.
just have to figure out on
Okay.
how to find
Okay.
like two
Olale,
players.
let me help you so you know who you are going to sacrifice. Messi earns 1.3 million euros every week. Antoine Griezmann earns 891 thousand euros every week. Frankie De Jong earns 400,000 euros every week. Sergio Busquets 287,000 pounds. Sigino Dest 126,000. Gerard Piqué 245,000.
No, see,
Usman Dembele 230.
you don't need to go into that self.
Samuel Titi 230,000 euros every week.
There are two things they have to do, Debo. There are two things
Yeah.
they have to do.
Uh-huh.
They need to let some players go.
Yeah.
And the new contract they are offering Leo Messi, I still think these all those players have to take a significant pay cut.
Pay cut.
I learned Messi is taking half of what is he earned
Earning right
last,
now.
but I still think,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I still think he still have to go a little bit
Lower.
down. Yeah, of course, it has to go a little bit lower because that's the reality. You see, the good thing is one problem with football at the time was salaries, player salary keeps going up at a rate higher than the club's revenue,
Yeah.
at the rate at which the club revenue was actually growing.
Yeah.
So I still think there are two things they have to do. They have to sell some players, Messi and some other couple of players earning those outrageous money. I don't think taking what you call it half is it what to call it half of
It
what he was earning before.
was any
I don't
before.
think that is enough because what he was earning before was actually
Too
crazy.
much.
Half of it is still crazy. I don't know whether you understand.
It's gonna be
Half of
six.
it is still
It's gonna be
crazy.
like six
So
hundred
I'm
and thirteen
expecting taking
thousand.
something.
613,000 euros every week.
It's still very every week. It's still
Every
very
week.
very high.
And
I think it should
he's not
come
playing in
down
China.
as low as three. You understand? I
He's not
think
playing in
it
China.
should come down as low as
300
300,000 euros if he actually
euros.
has the interest of the club in
Barcelona
mind.
at that. Okay. So this is when we
Yes,
know.
yes.
Kachi, Olale has successfully
That's the question.
exactly dodged my question. I don't mind him. He's a political guy, so I know him. I know him. I'm going to ask you now. I don't know if you're going to be political as well. Who are you going to sacrifice in this?
Without a doubt, a lot of people, and Antoine Griezmann
Number
definitely should be
one.
on the chopping block. Not because of his wage, but because his style of play right now does not suit what Ronald Koeman has in mind.
In mind.
And
Okay.
also the fact that they are bringing in Memphis Depay, he's going to be he's going to be chewing whatever hours that Griezmann will be playing.
We'll be playing.
Koeman, there's the issue of familiarity. Koeman already knows how Memphis Depay plays and likes to play, and he would definitely construct that team to play to the strength of Messi. Messi can play in any formation, but to the strength of Memphis Depay, which will mean that Griezmann will fall further down the pecking order. The challenge to that is that if this was 2 years ago, then there will be several suitors lining up, knocking on the door of Barcelona saying, give me Griezmann. Right now, Wale alluded to it. These guys don't want to bring him back to the Wanda Cosmopolitan Stadium because, I mean, who's going to come back?
Who's going to pay him?
Exactly. It's not going to be. They are still paying for their stadium right now. And they also have a mega star in Luis Suarez who has delivered a league for them as well. The second person that will be on the chopping board for me will be the young Frenchman, Samuel Umtiti. No, let's leave Ousmane. Ousmane Dembele's phone is they should give him out for free. I don't even want to go to Dembele. Dembele has been heavily disappointed since he moved to Barcelona from Borussia Dortmund. I really don't want to say so much. I'm talking of people who have shown promises but have under-delivered. Umtiti is in the, and it's just so sad that the two people I called are French guys. But Umtiti can still be easily sold because there are people looking for decent defenders around the world. His price tag is not the worst in the world. And there are people just like Varane is being touted to go to Manchester United, and we will talk about that later, I believe, in the show. Umtiti would find a home and find really quickly. Then the other French players, you have to say maybe time has come for me to do the Real Madrid model of business. Send as much of these guys as you can on loan. Half their wage bill, keep only half of their wage bill in your books. Let the club that is loaning them pay the other half. And let's see whether we can come back again next year and have this discussion. But definitely, without a doubt, Umtiti and Griezmann are the guys to go, in my opinion.
Wale, what's the name of the last Barcelona president? That guy really put this club in a mess. Like, who pays
Bartomeu?
Bartomeu.
No, but I think
Sergio Dest 126,000 euros every week. Who pays a Frankie de Jong 400,000 euros every week? Oh my God. Okay, let's just move on. Let's just move on. So let's move on. Let's leave Barcelona. Let's leave Barcelona for a while. Yeah, let's go to the younger brother of Barcelona right now. Kati said they are 2 points. Barcelona 0.2. What did you call it?
Barcelona Light. They are Barcelona
Light. Okay. So yeah. So Olale, last season, Arsenal sold their best goalkeeper, Emiliano Martinez. We've seen what the guy can do. Of course, I won't blame anybody for that. But now they are looking to buy Ramsdale. This is a guy that has relegated two clubs successfully. Relegated two clubs.
Back to back. You will not
back,
relegate Arsenal. That's very sure. So
back to
you
back.
can
And
just release.
Arsenal are planning to pick this guy for 32 million pounds. How crazy. I sincerely hope, as an Arsenal fan, I sincerely hope this is just one of those rumors. But it seems to be getting momentum. Should we even be talking about this? Buying Ramsey for 32 million pounds. When on the blue side of PSG, you have like four world class goalkeepers or four decent goalkeepers that they'll be looking to offload two of them, Sergio Rico and Areola, at least, or even Kelo Navas by the end of this summer.
It's difficult now. I don't envy whoever is running the show at Arsenal, the director of football, the person in charge of transfer negotiation. Uh, Selling Martinez last season, honestly, to be fair to Arsenal, is probably what majority of us could have
Of
done.
course, of course.
Whatever we are reacting to now is we are reacting in retrospection.
Yeah, I go with you
Because we've
100%.
actually seen what Martinez can actually do. That's why we are but again, I still think on what it wasn't there wasn't a decent evaluation, and I think you have to give Martinez a bit of kudos. He bet on himself. But looking at the decision to bring in Ramsdale, I don't know the rationale behind it. Like you said, PSG has luxury of goalkeepers they are willing to send out on loan or even to sell.
At cut
So,
price.
like I made mention some couple of weeks back on the show, Arsenal might not have the cash that Chelsea, Man City, or even United have at their disposal to play around with. But I still think they have enough if they have a decent team. I mean, the team
Scout.
behind
Mhm.
doing the planning,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
transfer planning, scouting. I still think they can compete by bringing in, like I made mention, Leicester doesn't have the Arsenal money, but they've shown that they are a bit more organized. They
Yeah.
have a better scouting system. They
Mhm.
brought in some couple of guys that 1 year, 2 years down, like just like, why can't we buy this player there? What was this player?
Exactly.
Imagine
Exactly.
they got
La-
Madison from Norwich City,
Mhm.
Fofana from nowhere in France.
Yeah.
They've gotten a lot
So
of decent player
so
here
you
and there.
know.
When they sold Maguire,
Yeah.
we thought it was the end of the world. There was a solution. So I think Arsenal can do something far better than that. Number one, Arsenal, you have the name. The Arsenal
Mhm.
name is far better than the Leicester name.
Mhm.
So I think there are two problems now. Cash is a problem.
Yeah. And lack of
On the
footballing brain.
other hand, lack of footballing brain behind the scene is another problem with Arsenal.
All right. Perfect. And of course, Kachi, I'm going to come to you. I know Wale is going to be sentimental about this. I'm not going to ask him this question. A new 3-year deal for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. A cost or or a miracle or area of hope for United, Kachi?
It's an array of um, it spells continuity for the club. This is one thing they've lacked since the great Sir Alex Ferguson left the helms of affairs. From when he left up until now, I think Man United has gone through about 4 or 5 coaches, if I remember,
Mm-hmm.
from David Moyes
Yes, so Luz Van Gaal.
to Louis Van Gaal to the chosen one who became the rejected one, and now to Ole Gunnar
Ole
Solskjaer.
Gunnar Solskjaer.
It's stability, and that is one thing that Manchester United needs right now. We're seeing the result of the upheaval in Arsenal with the frequent movement. No club wants that. Everybody wants to go into preseason knowing who they have there. Don't forget that we've seen the likes of Luke Shaw reinvent their game since Ole Gunnar
Ole Gunnar
Solskjaer
Solskjaer
came
came
back.
back. Yeah.
We've seen Paul Pogba beginning to love football again after the debacle with
With
Jose Mourinho. I
Mourinho.
mean, we saw videos of him having sparks with Jose Mourinho in training camp.
Yeah.
These guys now know what they are going to get with the babyface assassin. So I think it's an array of. I think it also spells good confidence. I mean, let's be realistic here. Let's forget fan banters or whatever. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer just needs to climb the hurdle of winning his first trophy for Man U. He's been knocking at the door from several semi-finals to last year when he got to the final of the Europa Cup. So, I mean, based on results, he's definitely not doing that. One thing he has going for him is that
Is the
even
confidence.
if they lose 36 games every year in the league, there are two games they want him not to lose. It should be maybe 4 games, but I'll focus on two. There are two games they don't want him to lose, and those are the two games that happen on the M16 road. It's the game against Manchester City. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the only guy that has beaten Pep 2 straight seasons back to back, home and away, home and away. Even in his formative years as coach, he was getting the better of the Tinkerman Pep Guardiola. So I think it's an array of hope.
Yeah,
I think also because he's had a hand in all the players, Jordan Sancho coming in,
yeah.
guys, he is marketable. The Bahrain of this world that are saying want to come, I think it's mainly because of the babyface assassin. They can only go up. I think their trajectory is upward, and I see them competing actively for the league this year.
I know Lally would disagree with you. I don't know if he would disagree with you. Don't let me say I know he will. Lally, do you disagree with Kachi? Do you think this is an upward trajectory, like Kachi said?
Well, Kachi has actually made a very good argument for the board decision to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer some kind of a contract extension. But for me, I think it's a bit of a mixed feeling. Um, like Kachi actually said, what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has actually brought into United is more stability. Yes, there's some you've seen some decent improvements, and I understand where the board is coming from. For them, they felt like since Alex Ferguson retired, this is what they've seen that looks more like stability and improvement.
Yeah,
They don't want a situation whereby the coach will be going into the final year of his contract without anything being sorted out.
being sorted out.
It sends out the wrong signal, well, are these people not? It seems like they are not confident enough in me.
Yeah,
Is it that they are talking to somebody behind?
yeah.
I think
He
that's
even sends
what
the
they are
wrong
trying to
message to the
prevent.
squad
They don't want
as a whole.
they don't want a bit of exactly. They don't want a bit of they don't want any instability within the team. But on the other hand, you look at it. What if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer what if he doesn't get things right this season? That means you have to, if you have to fire him, you
I have to
pay
pay
a lot
out.
of compensation.
Yeah.
And for me, I think my problem is only, I think only has a ceiling, and I don't think his ceiling uh, can take United to where they actually want to be. I think United will just end up being a team with something like they will always feel like they are close, and
Yeah.
I don't think they will be.
It's
I
going to
don't
it's going to
think
be a case of Nelly cannot
I,
kill a bird. It's going to be a case of Nelly cannot kill a
exactly.
bird.
I think that is where okay the bet. I think that's where the whole thing about Ole, because tactically Ole is closer, probably a better version of what's the name of the man that murdered the whole of the English what's the name?
Guys, Saget.
Gareth
Guys, Saget.
Southgate. I think Ole is just it's just a better version of him. They are in the same WhatsApp group.
Categorical. And
So
the same
I don't
category.
yes, I don't see him
Oh,
really taking United to where they want to belong to.
While,
But I
while,
think he will
while
always keep them home. That is
let it
just
be
the way it is.
officially known from today that I don't like you. Actually, I'm going to come to you now. 160 million pounds is just a rumor. A fee being agreed for Harry Kane to go to City from Spurs. 90 million pounds being agreed. Is a rumor as well for Jack Grealish to move to City from Aston Villa. Do you think Guardiola is just buying the league?
I think so. I think there has to be a clear-cut idea. Right now it looks like there is really no idea. The only logic is get us the best players, similar to what Team USA is doing in basketball. Assemble the best players and knock the bridges out of the competition. Um, what Guardiola basically is doing is I will strip my competition of their best players. That way, I know I stand a better chance to win the league. I know he's a good guy in terms of formation, in terms of even his personality. I want to believe he's a good guy. But
Not after that tears. Where's the Jack
uh,
Grealish?
I was just going to say, yeah, the fake tears with Sergio Aguero, with the whole back and forth with
Yeah, actually.
the young Ivorian Yaya Toure. It leaves a bad taste in the mouth. However, what is the integrity? How deep can your team be when you have this? Because we're hearing all this, and there's nothing telling us he's uploading anyone. Yes, we heard in the past that they wanted to use Raheem Sterling to sweeten the Harry Kane deal, but Sterling has proven to be, I mean, especially with the Euros, you always have to consider Sterling to be a key cog in your wheel. So right now, without rambling too much, to go back to your question, is definitely just
Buying
buying
the
the league.
league. Okay.
Is basically just buying it,
I,
and
I,
it
I
leaves
thought
us
as
with
much.
what is the fair play rule going to do? It's just going to be a slap on the wrist and
No, no,
just
no.
find them
They
another thirty
said don't
thousand
forget
dollars.
that. No, no, they said no fair play rule because of COVID
No
19.
more fair play. So
Have you forgotten?
because
They said no more fair play rule
so
because of
so
COVID 19.
so why don't they cap it? Why don't they cap it like the La Liga? Because right now only certain clubs have the right. I mean, it's oil money. We know oil money is endless until we can
Exactly.
get fossil energy and alternative energy,
That's like
include crude
that's
oil,
like 250 million pounds. Olale, I want to come
fossil
to
play.
you now. What's so special
Oh
about the jersey
man.
number 7 in Manchester United? I don't understand. They make it iconic. Is it because George Best wore it, Mary Cantona, David Beckham? But we've seen so many guys wear that jersey and they're not top of the game. Why not they giving the 73 million pound guy number 7 jersey and taking it from Cavani? What's so iconic about it?
Well, I think number 7 jersey and number 10 jersey are two iconic jerseys in in the world of football today. It is not something that I would say is limited to Manchester United. If you go to Real Madrid, go to Barcelona, go check their history.
Number 10,
If you
number
look
10,
at the
I agree.
calibers,
I don't agree with you for the number 7.
but no, number 7, like I said, just go and just check
Really?
and look at it. I think those two jerseys are
Who wears
very, very
7 for
iconic
Barcelona?
in.
Who wears 7 for Real
There
Madrid?
was a
For
certain Luis
Milan?
Figo. Luis Figo had the number 7 for a
For Real
significant
Madrid?
period.
Yeah,
There was a no for Barcelona. For
yeah,
Barcelona when he was there. I think
it,
Sabiola
yeah,
had a jersey too for a while.
yeah,
I, I think those are the two I can. But
yeah.
I know
I
that
think
in
10 is
most
more
of Real
iconic.
Madrid was Raul.
Yeah, 7
For
is
for
more
Raul made 7.
7 is more iconic to 7 is more iconic to you guys than number 10 jersey. I think number 7
And
was
if
just
you look at
because
the history,
Ronaldo.
in United, it's
Yeah.
not really about Ronaldo. It started from George Best.
No, no, no. I'm talking about
And
Real
no
Madrid.
matter how no matter how you rated, what do you call it, David Beckham?
Yeah.
No. I'm coming back to Manchester
Oh,
United.
okay,
No
okay.
matter how you rated David Beckham, made a good account of himself without
100%.
number 7 jersey.
100%.
He had a very, and when Ronaldo took over, he took it to an higher level.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the standard was actually there. The expectation was very high. Since then, it's been disappointment. I think the best person to wear that jersey since Ronaldo left is probably Michael Owen, and that's to tell you a lot
How bad
about the quality of
your
the
people have
guys
that won it?
um. So, but for me, I don't think it's a big deal. It's not a big deal. If the guy is comfortable, if the guy is comfortable taking over the jersey, fine. They should give it to him. But if he feels like no, he wants another number, I don't think the jersey will determine how you are going to
success.
perform.
Exactly.
I don't think it
Exactly.
has any direct,
Impact.
I don't think it has any direct correlation with what you are going to give. But again, players are quite different. Some people feel the pressure, probably due to the history behind those jerseys, but I don't think it's a big deal for me.
Okay. Kachi, I'm gonna come to you now. You remember that popular adage of I'm going to take whatever you're smoking. Like, how do you make that kind of decision? And I'm making this in reference to Son. This guy is a good footballer, no doubt about it. How come this guy is signing another 4 years, 4 years of bondage with Tottenham Hotspur? Because that's what I'm going to say. That's how I'm going to put it.
I think you have to give credit to Nuno Espirito. I think it's he has sold an idea to Son
Wow,
that Son bought into.
wow.
Um, this is someone who has always been, and I'm talking of the Wolverhampton team the last 2 3 years that Nuno Espirito Sanchez handled, and I think Son sat down, and I guess let's not forget that this is also a young man who deliberately left making earning his weekly pay to go and do his compulsory 18 weeks paramilitary service
Uh-huh.
with the
Uh-huh.
Korean
Uh-huh.
military.
Yeah.
So it says a lot about his thinking and training. That okay, maybe it's really not about the accolades, but about the kind of person you are. Do you run to go look for free trophies, or are you going to stay in and put in the work? Let's not forget that there were suitors. I mean, this is a decent play. I mean, I use decent and I'm using it very cheaply, but this is a very good player and one of the proponents of of the league and one of the biggest ambassadors of the league in Asia. So Spurs knows that whenever they have Son in their midst, their name would always be ranked high up there in Southeast Asia, where this guy comes from. But beyond that, he's probably been told, should Harry Kane go, we are going to build the sports team
Around
around
you.
you.
Okay.
So he's getting an opportunity to be an alpha in a team, and his work ethic will probably tell a new story. Because when people see a young person who is their number one player, possibly number one player, coming in on time for preseason, fit. He's not using preseason to be fit. He's coming
Yeah.
in fit
Fit.
for preseason, putting in the work. Injured, not injured, is probably going to send another message. So I think I want to give kudos to
To Son.
Espirito Sanchez
Okay. Okay.
and also to the man that Son is, not the football player, the man he is. I respect it. I'm not saying it's the right thing. I'm only saying I respect what he's doing. Not
Okay.
every player will do that
I,
right
I,
now.
I'll take whatever Son is smoking, anyways.
I can assure you that it's Kwale one.
Wale, this is or on a more serious note, Pedri, Richard Allison, Ozaba, these are guys that went to Copa America, the Euro Cup, and here we are seeing them again at the Olympic Games. How should their clubs actually feel? You know, or should we say the Olympics should be treated as they are pre-season and they are going to come back into the squad fitter, or this is a case of the league has started already. We are going to miss some of our important players. Someone like Richard Harrison that is very key to Everton. Someone like Predi that is like the next big thing in Barcelona.
Everton.
Yeah. Should the club be happy with these guys or not? Olari.
Hmm. Well, uh, I'm sure they will not be happy, but at the same time, for the clubs, they have to balance it. I will take you back to 2008. I think the league has actually started when the Olympic was still going on, and Barcelona left for them. Didn't want Messi competition. Uh, when Messi uh, was desperate to when Messi was desperate to played at the Olympics in
Olympic.
2008. Barcelona were very reluctant, but because he showed like the desire to play, and he told them that if they stop him from doing this, he might probably consider his future with the club. So that left them with no other choice than to allow him to play in the competition. Of course, sometimes it has to do with how big you are at the club and how you can probably negotiate with them. But ideally, no club wants to release his or her player when the league is about to start or when the league is ongoing. It's just like the dilemma of releasing players for the African Nations Cup in January when the league is at its peak. So that's to tell you, and this was not the case in the 80s and the 90s because you don't have the influx of foreign players in major European leagues like we have now. So it is something I think the clubs will have to live with, because international football will always take place. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think the dilemma with the Olympics is because Olympics takes place in the same year as the European Nations Cup, the Euro Nations Cup. If you recall that we just finished the European Nations Cup not too long. Hadn't been, we don't have the European Nations Cup. Probably the Olympic Games could have probably been held a little bit earlier so that it will finish before the season commences. But because we have to play the Euro Cup, yeah. So the Olympics are always probably the earliest you can start the Olympics around that mid of July, and it will end probably at the point when the league is starting, which is not probably which is not the right preparation any club probably wants to have. Yes, so it's just a dilemma. I think it's just a dilemma all of us we have to live with.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you very much, guys. And don't forget to follow all our social media handles. It's still at News Instanta on Instagram. It's at News Instanta1 on Twitter and at News Instanta on Facebook. The next week, we'll call back with more juicy stuff. Keep supporting sports.